what is the minimum funding amount? If you're establishing a foundation, if you do any sort of research, there's going to be all these things about you have to have tens of millions of dollars, and this is only reserved to the wealthy of the world. And that's actually why I got into this in the first place, is I wanted to establish my own foundation. And I'm not a multi-hundred millionaire. I've gone round and round and round on what is the optimal amount, and the answer is it depends. When you file your taxes, you either standard deduction, which for coming up 2026 is going to be 32,000, I think 32,500 for married filing jointly. 93% of Americans don't itemize, meaning that they have itemized deductions in excess of that amount. Literally 7% of Americans would qualify to actually have their dollars be deductible. The charitable world, they're saying, hey, your contribution's tax deductible, it's tax deductible, which is true, but you're not actually seeing that tax benefit. In order for that to be true, you would at least have to exceed the standard deduction. So at the purest minimum would be something like $35,000. But then we're getting into the complexity and the cost. And at that point, it's probably not very efficient to be at that lower level. So I've gone away from that. And I make it very simple now. If you can write a check for at least $100,000 and not think twice about it, a private foundation might be a good opportunity from a charitable standpoint. If you couldn't do that, or if it would be a big stretch to do that, private foundation probably at this point is not a good opportunity. Something like a donor advised fund might be better. Just direct giving might be better. And people tend to think in tranches of tens, essentially. It's like, I'm going to fund 100,000 a year. I'm going to start with $1 million. I'm going to start with 10 million. And then past 10 million, it's totally into dynastic and generational wealth. And it's totally random at that point. But people typically think like, yeah, I'm a round number, 100,000, million, 10 million.